This is a guy I've talked about a few times on this show. I got some really good value on him during week 1, so that's not there anymore. But I still really like that he's in the mix, and it's Justin Herbert to win MVP. This is, let's be clear, Josh Allen's award to lose. He's at minus 105 on FanDuel, plus 110 on DraftKings. This is just way too early for me to have minus odds on an MVP award. Anything can happen, an injury, a slump, a couple upsets. It doesn't take much to really shift things at the top of the board. Allen's looked excellent. He's, like I said, it's his to lose, but Justin Herbert has just as much of a path, in my opinion. The Chargers are 3-1. They're still on top of the division. They are taking a hit to the O-line, which will hurt Herbert's upside a little bit, but that just might make him stand out even more as the most valuable player on this team. He's got all the upside. His receivers are loaded. Omarion Hampton looks like a true stud running back, so this team should have no problem scoring, moving the ball, as long as Herbert can avoid taking too many sacks, which wouldn't really even be his fault because of the O-line. There's no reason he's not going to be in contention here. He's moved into second place from third. Lamar Jackson has dropped out of that. He's about plus 1,000 now. So I'm sticking with Herbert. My not preseason, but my week 1 pick. Still some value there. I'm riding him out. And pretty much you can't hedge Josh Allen with these odds unless you're putting a sizable bet on it. So I'm sticking with him. If you want a long shot, look at Jalen Hurts. He's plus 1,800, plus 1,900. The team's 4-0. He has 9 total touchdowns, 0 turnovers, low passing volume, which is definitely why he's this low. It's going to be a quarterback award. But if you want the long shot, it's Hurts. But Herbert is my number 1 pick for MVP right now.
I love the Herbert pick. I think holding strong there is the wise move. I also like the Hurts shout. Narratively, Saquon has been a lot less involved this year, and it feels like, it's you're always trying to find the narrative winner, I think, with awards like this. Even if it's not the best player in the league, sometimes it's the guy the media covers the most as the biggest jump or the story of the season. And I feel like the Eagles are so good, it's hard to make any individual player the story. But if they go, 16-1, 15-2 with a quiet year from Saquon, suddenly we're going to look up and have to give the award to somebody on Philly. So I like both of those shouts. I had a Herbert preseason one from our conversations at the beginning of the season, and I'm going to hold strong with that. For my first award pick here, I'm actually going to stay with the Chargers and give you their running back, Omarion Hampton. Offensive Rookie of the Year, 5-1. Now, this isn't the long shot value that I typically like to look for with futures. This is about the low end of the spectrum that I would ever add a future play to my card, unless it's, just plus money for something I think is imminent, 100% likely to happen. Obviously, Omarion Hampton is not guaranteed to win this award. Right now, he is valued as the 3rd favorite behind Emeka Egbuka, who I'm also a fan of, as you've heard on previous episodes. But for Hampton to have twice the payout here, 5-1 as opposed to 2.5-1 with Egbuka, I think that's insane to me. Hampton is also priced more favorably to the better side than Ashton Genty, who, had a huge breakout game this past week, but outside of that, had a really quiet start to the season. Hampton's been solid from the jump, and you add in the fact that with Najee Harris out for the rest of the year, he's going to go from a split carry situation into a bell cow situation. His game logs reflect that. He's been used twice as much in the passing game in the last 2 weeks without Najee Harris since he was before. 7 targets 2 weeks ago, 5 targets and 5 catches this past week. I think when you add his pass catching ability to some breakaway potential, which he showed against the Giants, averaged 11 yards a carry, 128 yards and a touchdown this past week. I just think he's going to get better and better, and the Chargers are going to lean on him more and more as the season goes on. The eye test tells me he's been the best back from this rookie class, and I think as good as Egbuka is, there's arguments that when Evans comes back, we don't know how featured he's always going to be. Is this a flash in the pan? Hampton is not worried about anybody behind him. If anything, he's only going to increase his usage as the season goes on. I think 5-1 is really good value for a guy that I think could honestly end up a favorite by mid-season with this award.
Completely agree with you there. And from an RB perspective alone, there's no reason Jonty should be in front of him. He has one good game against a bad team, and it's the draft capital, which we know for a fact comes into play here. There's extra narrative and stuff at play at work here. I love your pick. I'll definitely be on this with you. Might do a little round robin here with Hampton and a couple of these other awards for some long shot value, which is a thing I do love to do preseason and once or twice throughout the year to try to get a couple awards all in one. All right, my next one, somewhat sticking with the theme and going offensive and a running back. My offensive player of the year pick is not someone I would have thought to even look at ahead of the season, and one that probably most people aren't looking at now, but James Cook of the Buffalo Bills has himself a nice little case here, in my opinion. To be transparent, Puka is still my pick, like who I believe is going to win and should win the award, but his value is long gone. I got him at like plus 1,600. He's plus 260 and the favorite. So again, if you're comfortable taking an awards play this early in the season at odds that short, go ahead and back Puka. He's my guy, but you're looking for the value. You want the long shot. James Cook, man, over 100 total yards in each game. He's on pace for 1,700 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns so far through 4 games. Bijan's at plus 500 with 2 touchdowns, though he does have almost 600 yards. But he's on I would call a mid-tier team at best compared to James Cook, who's on the best team in the NFL right now. So Josh Allen's always going to, take away maybe from some of his usage, but it's not hurting him so far. He's fine in the end zone. He's getting the volume. He's getting the yards. Realistically, if the Bills are practically undefeated or remain as a number 1 seed all season long, this price should just naturally get smaller because the other guys are going to kind of filter out. And you could just do a lot worse from a long shot value in week 4 or 5. I do think Cook's got to have some monster games. He needs like a 2 touchdown, 150-yard, 3 touchdown game to really put a statement and plant a flag here. But I mean, almost 20-1 odds, 5 touchdowns for the guy. Yeah. Give me James Cook for a little dark horse offensive player of the year.
I like the pick. I see all the reasoning behind it. He's been so stellar to start the season that it's hard to argue against this whatsoever. I also want to give you props, and we should mention this. 19-1 on FanDuel. Make sure you get it on FanDuel because it's 15-1 at DraftKings. Certainly just showing some pricing value there, the starting point. So I am going to stick in a similar range here for the same award and just give out a different candidate I like. And yeah, it's a little homery, but I think there's a narrative here. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 15-1 for Offensive Player of the Year. He has been better this season than he has been throughout his career, which is crazy. And yes, it's been a hot start, but I'm telling you from watching every minute of these Detroit games, the only major difference between the previous regime's Ben Johnson trick play offense versus this new look offense under John Morton is that they don't get as cute in the red zone. I mean, if you remember it, they were all over. If you had red zone on your TV in the last 3 years, they would be throwing passes to offensive linemen, reverses, all these cute things that you had no idea how to stop. And I'm telling you from experience, as good as Amon-Ra was, he was never the biggest end zone finding threat. Now he is. He has 6 touchdowns through 4 games. And when they get down there, they don't even look in the direction of anybody else. Jameson Williams had a couple drops last week. Laporta has not found the end zone once this year yet. Yes, they still like to run the ball, but if they get cute on 3rd down or if they struggle trying to pound it through with Montgomery a couple times at the goal line, they've gone straight to Amon-Ra St. Brown every single time. In fact, I think 5 of his 6 touchdowns are like 3-yard receptions where they just dial up a little out route at the goal line. There's a chance that he stacks up some crazy touchdown numbers this year. And if the Lions do end up winning the NFC North, remaining in contention for a top 2 seed in the NFC playoffs, I think he will have the narrative story behind him that he just had a career year without the offensive coordinator that everyone gave credit for how good he was up until this year. It looks like we're trending that way at 15-1. I mean, this is 5 or 6 times the value that you would get betting Puka Nacua, who obviously deserves to be the favorite right now. But man, if St. Brown's touchdown track holds up through the rest of the season, I think he's going to be in contention by the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, 6 touchdowns through 4 games. That's got to be pace for over 20. Well, over 20 on the year. So you're talking serious offensive production, and you can't ignore that type of output in an award like this, regardless of who else is up there. I mean, just look at the touchdown equity is 3 times what Puka has. So, and he's a massive favorite. Granted, he's got 120 yards in every single game, but no reason this can't tighten up. And at 15-1, I'm with you right there.
Love it. All right. Hopefully you like our picks, and maybe you can add some of these to your cards. Always fun to get a couple futures in on the individual side in NFL season. I liked your idea to round robin those as well. If anyone does do that, by the way, let us know. Jump in the Discord and send us a ticket or something. Give us a heads up so that we know who to shout out at the end of the season.